43 of Indian Evidence Act. Judgment of Criminal Court. Under which section of the Indian Evidence Act to witness has been given right to refresh his memory? Actually, judgment. Which of the following judgment is relevant under section 43 of Indian Evidence Act? 43. Judgment Criminal Court. Section 42, Section 44. Indian Evidence Act 1872 lays down provision relating to judgment of Court of Justice. 43 of Indian Evidence Act. Under which section of the Evidence Act witness has been given right? 159. Given right to refresh his memory. 159. Which of the following judgment is irrelevant under section 43 of Evidence Act? Judgment of a criminal court. Which of the following judgment is irrelevant under section 43 of Indian Evidence Act? Which of the following judgment is irrelevant under section 43? Which of the following judgment is irrelevant under section 143 of the Indian Evidence Act? Indian Evidence Act. Judgment of a criminal court. Criminal court. 1870 section 40 to 44 Indian Evidence Act. Provision relating to judgment of Court of Justice. When relevant sections when 40 deals with the previous judgment to bar a suit or trial. Section 41 deals with relevance of certain judgment in probate. Section 42 deals with relevancy and effect of judgments other than those mentioned. Actually, under which section Indian Evidence Act witness has been given right to refresh his memory? 159. Witness memory refresh करेगा. Which of following judgment irrelevant? Relevant नहीं है. Under section 43 of Indian Evidence Act. Judgment of Criminal Court. 43. Mandamus may issued with. Mandamus. High Court, District Court. Provision of Administration Tribunal added by 42nd Amendment. Administration Tribunal. The provision related to free legal aid giving under legal aid. Section 304. Under which of the following provisions CRPC police officer is under an obligation to produce the person arrested before a magistrate within 24 hours of the arrest? Section 57 of CRPC. Police officer under obligation to produce that every person who was arrested and detained in police custody shall be produced. Arrest excluding the time necessary for the journey from the place of arrest to court. Who may record confession statement shall be produced before the nearest magistrate. Such person can be detained in the police custody beyond the said period without the authority of magistrate. Which may record confession or statement under section 164 CRPC. Judicial officer. Under section 164 of CRPC, confession or statement is recorded by any metropolitan magistrate or judicial magistrate. Habeas corpus. Delegated legislation was declared constitutional in Re Delhi Laws Act case. Delegated legislation was declared Right to property in India is constitutional right. Ex-officer chairman of the Council of State. Council of State, Vice President. Prospectus which does not include complete particulars of the quantum of price of the securities included therein in known as a prospectus which does not include complete particulars quantum of price. Red herring prospectus. Cumulative preference shares. When there is no profit in 1 year or the profit of company is not enough, the arrears of dividend are to be carried forward and paid before dividend is paid on the ordinary shares. Cumulative preference shares. There is no profit in 1 year or the profit of a company is not enough. Pay the fixed dividend on preference shares. Arrears dividend are to be carried forward and paid before arrears paid on the ordinary shares. Cumulative preference shares. Industrial. Industrials. Dispute means. Dispute means difference between employee and employers, employers workmen and workmen, employers employee, employers workmen, workmen. Industrial dispute means actually who among the following cannot transfer an immovable property? Immovable property. Natural guardian of a minor cannot transfer a immovable property. Natural guardian of a minor. Natural guardian. The doctrine of the lease pendants was explained in the leading case. Lease pendants. Bellamy and Sabin. Bellamy and Sabin. Right to fair legal aid was recognized as a fundamental right under Act 21 of the Indian Constitution. Right to fair legal aid was recognized as a fundamental right under Act. Right to fair legal aid was recognized. Actually, right to fair legal aid was recognized as fundamental rights. 21 of Indian Constitution in the case of M.H. Haskar versus State of Maharashtra, 1978. Right to fair legal aid was under Act 21 of the Indian Constitution. In this case, which is the contract in State of Maharashtra, year 1978. Which country has the concept of PIL originated? United States of America. As the concept of PIL originated. A question suggesting the answers which the person putting it wishes or expect to receive is called leading questions. A question suggesting the answer which the person putting it wishes or expect to receive is called leading question. Actually, Section 141 of the Evidence Act. Any question suggesting the answer which the person putting it wishes or expect to receive is called leading questions. Option of puberty is a ground of divorce under Hindu Marriage Act. Puberty. only wife, divorce under Hindu Marriage Act. Puberty, only wife. Originated United State of America. X X strikes A age by the actually X X strike A age provocation exceeded to violent range. Y is bystander intending to take advantages of A age cause him kill. X gives a revolver into A's hand. Actually, A is liable for committing murder and Y is liable for abetting murder. A is liable for committing murder, Y is liable for abetting murder. Age by this provocation excited to be violent. Y is a bystander intending to take advantages of A's hand for the purpose of A kills X with the revolver. A is liable for committing murder and Y is liable for abetting murder. X strike A age by this provocation excited to violent range. Y is bystander intending to take advantage, intending A X and to cause him kill X gives a revolver into A's hand. A kills X with a revolver. And Y is liable. Age liable. Right to fair legal aid was recognized as a fundamental rights under Act 21 of Indian Constitution in this case of MS Huscott versus State of Maharashtra 1978 Supreme Court 1548. MS Huscott and State of Maharashtra AR 1978 SC 1548. Which country was with the concept? PL originated in which of the following does not come under the immovable property as per the TP Act? TP Act. A sales of a ceiling fan. Which of the following does not come under the immovable property as per TP Act? Property. Sales of a ceiling fan. Which of the following does not come under the immovable property act? Sales of a ceiling fan. What kind of property is transferable? Any kind of property if not exhibited by law. What kind of property is transferable? Prohibited by law. The property of which cannot be compelled to perform specific performance of the contract are provided in which section of Specific Relief Act? Section 28 of the Specific Relief Act provides for what parties cannot be compelled to perform. The parties which cannot be compelled to perform specific performances. Compelled to perform specific performance. Contract are provided in which section of Specific Relief Act? Section 28. Parties which cannot be compelled to perform specific performances of contract are provided in which section of the Specific Relief Act? Section 28 of the Specific Relief Act. Parties cannot be compelled to perform. The provision. Actually, the provision of the right of a private defense are given under section 96(106) of Indian Penal Code. Indian Penal Code 96(106). Defense Act. Provision of the right to private defense. The following appears to contribute to global cooling rather than global warming. Aerosols contribute to global cooling rather than global warming. A and B agree to fence with each other for amusement. The agreement implies their consent of each to suffer any harm. Course of fencing may be caused without foul play. While playing fairly, horse B A commit no offense.